And so then the issue becomes consent, where you draw the line around consent. Is it possible to draw a line so that everybody understands what is needed for something to be consensual? No one's saying nobody wants to participate in group sex. That's not the issue, is it?
Well, but there's also that male thing about she was up for it. Men will interpret a scream of agony as a scream of delight. They just don't get it. They think that women are up for it when they're not up for it. They don't realise when they're intimidated. And they're egging each other on, and it's always going to come down to that same thing. There's more of them than there is of her, and there's no way her word can prevail. The whole notion of consent is a dubious one because it relates to the old law of rape, which is if you don't fight to the death when you're being sexually harassed, accosted, whatever, then you must be complicit because you're supposed to be killed rather than have sex with an unauthorised individual. That's your husband's interest in you. That's your father's interest in you. It has never been the fact that the woman was the plaintiff in a rape case. She is a body of evidence. That's what has to change. And what she says, she must be able to pursue her right in law. She has a better chance of doing that under the civil code in the damages department than she has in the criminal court because the law is fundamentally twisted because of its historic derivation from the old laws of rape.
And Germaine, before I let you go, just switching back to politics again, I know you've been visiting America recently. I suppose the obvious question is, has the Australian way touched the American body politic in any way? But I also wonder what your impression is of American politics right now with the new president.
Oh dear, I think their expectations are way too high. I think anyone who runs the United States in the next 4 years will never run it again because it's going to be so rough. And people will just want to dissociate from this really bad time. I think Obama has been incredibly unlucky, especially as he's from the Middle West. He had to fish out the auto industry because his own supporters wouldn't let him not. And it's all going pear-shaped from there.
He comes in with a huge margin of error, though. Can you actually see the gloss being stripped off him to the degree you're talking about, that it'd be gone after one term?
No, yes, I can. Well, look what they're saying now. I mean, the right wing is now saying he's a failed president. He's been there for 100 days. And they're saying that's it, he's no good, he doesn't know what he's doing. The thing is, Of course, that's what they were saying about George Bush after 100 days, and then September 11 came. Oh, don't. We don't want another one of them. And we don't want another war either. But Mrs. Thatcher was saved by a war, a stupid little war, which contained its own atrocities. And it's dreadful to think that you need that kind of catastrophe. The really important thing about Obama is that he changed the way politics is financed in North America. And that is an incredible change to get out from under organisations and institutions that have habitually exercised patronage in the sphere of politics. That's an amazing change. But the problem is that once he's out there, those same institutions are not helping him. They're letting him do it on his own.
Yes, and that depends there. There's been a lot written about those who've been disenfranchised in the American political sphere up until now, who found themselves with a voice and a vote and came enthusiastically out for Obama. Do they now feel part of this process, though? Won't they turn up to vote again?
Well, the other thing is Obama's changed. He doesn't talk the same way anymore. He doesn't have that rolling rhetoric that comes out of the whole Baptist tradition. He now talks very stiltedly. He now is the editor of the Harvard Law Review, and he's so careful. He never says anything.
Is that fear?
That isn't scripted.
Or exhaustion?
It's because he knows that the snipers are all around him. He's not going to be allowed to make Bush-type blunders. They'll murder him. And so he doesn't make them. But that means that his spontaneity is gone. You know exactly what his body language is going to be, exactly what he's going to look like, and exactly how he's going to structure his sentences. He's become a marionette, which is really, really sad.
As you say, 100 days on, perhaps he'll re-emerge as the old Obama in the months and years ahead. Germaine Greer, thanks for joining us again on Breakfast.